Looking for tips on how to increase your sales? I'm Derek Little, host of the Manufacturing Sales Trends podcast. You'll learn about everything from the coronavirus to digital transformation. Brought to you by eRep CPQ, a leader in online sales quoting solutions for manufacturers and distributors. In this episode, I'm talking to Gilbert Perez. Gilbert is the U.S. West Coast Regional Sales Manager for Paymar, an Italian solar panel manufacturer. In this episode, he describes a situation where he prevented one of his clients from taking a loss on overstocked products by helping them sell to a competitor. This may not be a traditional customer success story, but perhaps a lesson on how to build better customer relationships in the middle of a pandemic. Here's what Gilbert had to say.
Welcome, Gilbert. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So to get things started, can you tell me a little bit about your company, Paymar, and what products you guys offer there and what you do in your role?
Yes, I am the West Coast Regional Sales Manager for Paymar Solar. We make solar panels in Brescia, Italy, and our solar panels come with a 30-year warranty on power and 20-year warranty on product. We make standard efficiency and high efficiency solar panels. Currently, we have a 330 and a 325 and a 60 cell footprint, and a 385 and a 400 watt panel and a 72 cell footprint. Here coming soon, we're going to be having some even higher wattage panels. So stay tuned. We'll be able to tell you about that probably closer to the holidays.
So which customers are your products best for? Like which customers do you normally serve?
Yeah, so we primarily like to work with distributors that work with residential solar installers, and then also in the, we'll call it the C&I space, with projects that are anywhere from 50 kilowatts to a couple megawatts. That's the sweet spot that we like to be in.
Interesting. So would you happen to have a customer experience or a customer success story that you could share?
The most recent story that I could tell you about is one of our best distributors. Recently, through the COVID situation, he had been sitting on some extra inventory that he wasn't able to move as fast as he usually had. The challenge that we had was not only when would we sell it, but for how much would we sell it for. So the outcome that we were able to get for him was a win-win situation. Normally, most customers don't sell to the competitors, but in this case, we did. So we had another distributor in another market that needed our product for one of our other clients. And so we were able to facilitate a transaction to where he sold his goods, he was able to get his cash back, sell at a fair price, meaning he didn't take a loss. So he's never taken a loss on any of the goods he sold. We transferred those over to the other distributor, and they're happy, and we are continuing back at a normal pace now.
Did you guys make any money out of this at all?
Between myself and my colleague in the other states, no, we didn't. Our number one directive is to help our distributors that purchase our inventory, meaning they give us their credit, their money to hold our goods into their warehouse. Our role is to help them move that. And so it doesn't end after they pay the bill.
They must love you.
There was a very big thank you. And, every time that they reorder, it's always a big thank you, because that is what makes the world go round.
Are there any ways that COVID-19 has impacted what you do as a sales manager, like on a day-to-day basis? Or do you see things changing, or do you think this is the new normal?
It has been, we could call it a one day at a time situation. The biggest, most obvious thing that had happened is the shutdown had caused there to be a slowdown, and that slowdown had caused there to be an oversupply, and that oversupply had caused a drop in price, a dramatic drop of price of solar panels. It's not unusual in the solar market. but one that was so fast was unusual. So what we've done to manage through those waters, if you will, is to strengthen the ties of our partners that are with us to basically make sure that we get through it together. So we are not traveling like we were. So you have to, to make the phone calls and the Zoom calls, which is different. But whenever I get a chance, at least in my local area, I still make it a point to go and visit people and see people, and it makes all the difference in the world. It's my hope that we'll get back to a place of where we're doing trade shows again, and we're traveling, not just to Italy, but nationally, coming together, as well as going to different states to see people. It's going to be an interesting time. At the moment, I'd say as long as we continue to bring in new product, higher wattage product, because we are a bespoke brand, people do appreciate the Italian-made product, the Italian-made engineering, and the quality of our brand.
So is there any advice that you would give to other sales managers about managing sales in the midst of a pandemic?
The easiest and best way is listen to what the market is doing, observe, and adjust as best as you can. But more than anything, make relationships, maintain relationships, and strengthen those relationships. Aside from anything else, will serve you through any challenging day.
Talking a bit about your sales process, apart from COVID-19, is there anything that you would change if you could to improve your sales process? In your situation where you're dealing with distributors, I guess your situation is unique, that all your products are imported from Italy.
I would say that is the biggest order of the day, if I want to use that word in particular, considering that we ship containers at a time. So those containers, they cross the Atlantic, and as right now, there's quite a few hurricanes and tropical storms. Those types of things can cause ships to either accelerate or not move through the Atlantic. And I'm talking about that because the flow of goods into our warehouses in the U.S. so that we can have them available to ship to our clients, that's really, if anything, that's always been point of focus of how do you maintain cash flow when, how do you plan for having inventory that enters into the port to be able to ship out to our clients. So that's really that whole the process of forecasting is the biggest thing of it all.
So possibly if your distributors could place orders earlier, or if you knew in advance what they needed, you could bring over the right amount. But I guess you have to send the product directly to your distributors for them to store at their warehouse, right? Would your customers rather order on a just-in-time basis?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if we're going to talk about business as usual, normal day, yes, it's just in time as much as possible. But sometimes when inventory and demand is fluctuating, sometimes it has to be forecasted and ordered ahead of schedule. So that's where knowing who your stocking partners are going to be and what their demand looks like from their installers. So it's not that our distributors just stock and hope. We actually help them with the installers that actually are buying from them. They have a fairly good idea of what pace they're going to buy them from. So it's not uncommon for me to meet with, we'll call it our strategic installers that use our products on an ongoing basis, to go to lunch with them and know exactly how many they plan on using for the next month or two, or, if I make introductions to them. So I guess you could say I help influence what happens down the road with as it goes each part of the way. So that might be a long, lengthy answer, but I guess what I'm saying is not only is it important for my distributor to know what he's doing, it's also important for me to know what the installer is doing as well.
Okay, well, we're coming to the end of this episode, Gilbert. So Is there a way someone can reach you in case they have any follow-up questions for you?
Sure. I look forward to speaking to anyone that has questions. You can reach me at 602-810-7496, or you can also send me an email at gilbert.perez@paymar.com, and Paymar is spelled PEIMAR.com.
Okay, thanks for taking the time to come on the podcast, Gilbert.
I'm so glad we did.
Thanks for listening to the Manufacturing Sales Trends Podcast. We hope you got a few good tips for increasing your sales. Our show is brought to you by eRep CPQ. They help you quote faster, sell smarter, and accelerate your growth. Learn more at erepcpq.com.